everybody. My name's Amy Taylor, and I'm here to give a commentary from one of the teenagers here at Bethel Park. She goes to IMS, Independence Middle School, my daughter, Aaliyah Taylor, and we're going to talk about what it's like to be a teen in the age of coronavirus. Aaliyah, welcome. I want to talk to you about your feelings and what your thoughts are as far as the coronavirus and what's going on in the United States and to your school and everything else locally. First off, what's your impression of the coronavirus as relation to your school? How do you feel about being off and the implications of being off with coronavirus? Hi, buddy.
It kind of sucks because we're going to have to start online school, and it's going to be kind of hard because, number one, we don't know the time slots that school is going to begin. And if we have to start making up in the summer, a lot of kids are going to get angry about that because a lot of kids want their summers off. And everything's closed, so that sucks too, so we can't do anything. And the rule is for teens that you're only allowed to hang out with groups of 10 or less, but a lot of parents aren't allowing their kids to even leave the house.
And as far as school goes, I understand your frustration in possibly having to go to summer school, maybe your apprehension as far as doing online schools. Do you feel that you can keep up with your classes and still graduate from your current year on time?
I feel like it will be difficult and very hard to adapt to, but I feel like that with all like the new technology we have, it will be, even though it will be difficult, we will get through it.
Very good. Now, what about your impression of coronavirus with social distancing? I know you teens or you millennials, have a certain way about you that you're invincible and it can't happen to you, and that you're all exceptions to a rule. I'm reading a lot about stories on the internet where people are partying or not taking the mayors or the orders that are being given down before them. So what's your feeling about social distancing?
I think social distancing is very important because with especially the elderly, children are carriers with the corona, and if they even hang out with with someone who might have to visit their grandmother or something, and they hang out with that person and they give them the corona and then they give their grandparents the corona, that could be deadly to them. And even one person staying home and deciding not to go out with their friends and partying, that could really help a problem in the spreading of corona.
What's your feelings as though you're missing out on opportunities with your friends? Does that make you upset? Does that make you angry? Or do you think you have the patience to wait it out?
I feel like a lot of teens are getting very bored and they're all feeling like this is sort of dumb, but I understand the precautions and people are taking that this is a very deadly disease and it could hurt us. But I know a lot of people, including myself, are getting bored, angry, stressed, upset, sad about all of these things because we're getting so bored, we're getting so lonely, we feel isolated from the world, and everything's getting shut down, so we can't even go anywhere.
Tell me a little bit about what you do to pass your time during a typical day or during a typical week. What have you been doing to pass the time to keep yourself busy?
Well, of course, Netflix, and that is really big with teens, and of course, phones are really big with teens, and those have been keeping people busy. Face masks, painting your nails, bubble baths, reading books, even studying, because even studying can help you for whenever you do get back into school. I personally like FaceTiming with my friends because that's a good way to keep in contact with people while you have to stay away from them. Yeah, that's really it.
Do you feel that you've been doing okay with the social distancing so far?
Yeah, I've been doing good with it just because, well, you and my father will not let me be near people which is good. Parents should keep precautions on their kids during this time. I think I'm doing okay with it. I mean, of course I want to be with my friends, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
I believe it was the Friday that all this went down, Friday the 13th, if I recall, when they put the mandate down and the schools were closed and the businesses were not going to be operational and no more restaurants, no more bars, only supermarkets and pharmacies that are open. Have you been abiding by those rules? And how did you feel when that first came out?
Okay, when I first came out, I was on the announcements at school was during ninth period, so at the end of the day, and a lot of the drama club kids found out that the show was canceled.
Which show was that, Aaliyah?
That was Mary Poppins Jr. at Independence Middle School.
And they waited to the end of the day to tell you.
Yeah, which it was really sad. And then all the drama club kids, including myself, all rallied up, and which I thought was funny because everyone was told not to touch each other. But after that, everyone was crying, and they were just so emotional. And even kids that weren't in our drama club were crying because they felt so bad for us because we only had 2 more days. And then and everyone was just worked so hard. Even the stage crew was like memorizing lines for people, and they all had to be somewhere. But like everyone was crying and hugging each other, and I was like, we shouldn't be hugging each other, but it's so emotional that you just have to like be together during that time. I felt very upset personally, but I understand the precautions we got to go through just to get this over with. And whenever it is over with, hopefully we can continue our shows and the show at the high school that also got canceled.
And they waited to the end of the day to tell you that. Yes. So it was approximately 2:30 in the afternoon when they told you that the drama club play Mary Poppins Jr. would not be taking place, and you were supposed to show up at 5 o'clock that evening to take the stage and then go to the public at 7:30. So within 2.5 hours, literally the rug was taken out from underneath of you, and you and the rest of IMS was left devastated to this. Are there any plans to make it up or to do anything in place of this right now?
I believe there was a plan to make it up, but school just got canceled even further due to the corona. So I hope that it gets rescheduled once more, because this is like one of the most important things in a lot of kids' lives, like in their school, that makes their year better. And so if it does not get rescheduled, I think a lot of kids are going to be devastated.
You guys had practiced for weeks, over a month, I think since January, on this play, between the rigorous auditions and the rehearsals and the dancing and the singing and you just all put your hearts into this. And I can only imagine how devastating it was for you and the gang. You only did one performance open to the public and then the other 2. Now, I know that Principal Minch had talked about originally perhaps making it up at a later point in time, and, we will wait and see if that opportunity arises. Like you said earlier, the Guys and Dolls performance at the high school was also canceled, and those children never even had a chance to put on one show, whereas IMS at least got the chance to put on one show. Have you spoken with your friends at all regarding the situation, and what's their opinion as far as the social distancing and the shutdown of business and everything else that's going on? What's their opinion?
Yesterday I was actually on FaceTime with my friend, and she was crying because she was so upset and she felt so lost because of all this. And she said that it feels like the world has completely stopped and is frozen. I've talked to a few people about the show. They think that the show is not going to go on, and a lot of people were absolutely devastated that people are absolutely losing hope in it already, because this is like a time in the world where everyone needs to stay inside, but no one wants to face the fact that we have to. It's just too sad.
And you don't go out of the house at all, is that correct? Or do you go out for any reason?
I usually don't go out because, the only time where I've been out is grocery shopping, I believe once. Weeks ago. Yeah. Not even before they put out all the quarantine stuff.
So you've basically been staying inside the home and doing things from home, be it FaceTiming or Netflixing. You've done some baking. So that's good. Yeah, you made some cookies and some muffins and things like that. So that's fun to do. We've played some board games. So that's always wonderful to do it together as a family. Do you feel scared about the future or what tomorrow will bring?
That's a difficult one because I wouldn't say scared. I feel worried for elderly people who have higher risks of, or people who have health issues in the past, because I heard they have a really high risk of deathly diseases and stuff because of this. And it's just, I personally don't feel scared for myself. I feel scared for others.
What about the long-term repercussions that are going to happen because of this? Do you think that society will change at all, like drastic changes in the government or in the system as we know it?
I hope not a lot of changes happen because the world is already under so much stress and pressure nowadays for so many reasons with beauty standards and all this stuff. So the only things that I think we should be changing is how much we bathe and how much we wash our hands and all that stuff. I don't know what big changes are going to happen. I hope that they find a cure soon, and I hope that's a big change.
I think if everybody comes together, and when I say comes together, in unity, staying in their homes and respecting the government's wishes and social distancing, 6 feet apart, just doing the necessary things that you absolutely have to, the necessary doctor's appointments, going food shopping only when you absolutely have to, so on and so forth. I think hopefully we'll be able to gain control of the situation like that. Other than feeling scared and worried, is there anything that you find that might be positive or uplifting about this whole situation that perhaps you can put into words?
I think this is a great time to get to know yourself and your own emotions, because without like all this social interaction, you can definitely find yourself in this, which means you can definitely find maybe a new book that you like or maybe a new hobby that you can pick up, because we have all this time to ourselves, so we have so much that we could do. Even like gardening, because you can stay in your like area. You don't have to like go far. You can even garden inside. There's like so much that you can do inside your house that could benefit you.
If you could relay one message to your peers, the teens, the next generation, the people that you go to school with, if you could relay one or two or just a few things as a message to them, what would you say to them?
I know this is a hard time right now, and I know that we want to be together, but this is only going to be temporary, and even if it feels like forever, it is only temporary, and we are going to get through this, and as soon as it's over, we can party together.
And I think that's an important message to get across. We are going to get through this together. We as a community, we as a nation, we as a world, we are going to get through this. And we will come out stronger in the end. And I think that everybody, if they just do what they're supposed to do, like I think that this can all resolve itself and have a peaceful resolution. And I think that tomorrow's going to be brighter. I think that tomorrow's going to be better. And I think that in the big scheme of things, I think that we have to have hope. We have to have hope for tomorrow and the next generation. And I think that's a very positive message that you're sending your friends and your peers. You have to have hope. And we all have to stay positive. So when your friends call you, like you said your friend did last night, in tears or sadness in their heart, I hope that you can be that person to raise them up and to bring positively to their life and just kind of show them that tomorrow will be better and tomorrow is a new day.
Yeah, and please practice social distancing. Please. I know it's going to be hard, but it really does benefit. People have said social distancing is like dominoes. If you put a bunch of dominoes in a row and you take out one of each, as in resemblance to social distancing, that one person that stays home, and you tip it over, only like one or two are going to fall because one or two people are going to get it. And then all these people you just helped because you stayed home.
Yeah, that's a really important message to say. Just one person can make a huge difference. Two people can make an even more bigger difference, and so on and so forth. And I think everybody just needs to do their part. Hi there, Amy Taylor again, and I'm here with my son Zach, who was in the Guys and Dolls performance at the high school that was stripped away from him at the very last minute. Zachary, you want to tell us a little bit about what this whole coronavirus has meant to you and the children at the high school?
It meant a lot to a lot of people. My mom said, Guys and Dolls. A lot of people were in tears, and just a lot of people were sad because we spent all this time, months and months on it, and it just couldn't happen, which affects a lot of people, affects a lot of families. After working so hard, it just doesn't happen, and it's really sad. And it doesn't really affect me as much because staying home I'm fine with, but other people I'm sure it does affect, as they got jobs and a lot of other important things to do.
So when you say you're fine with staying home, define staying home, what that means to you and what you've been busy with.
Staying home means just relaxing, making sure that you get to do what you want to do, as staying quarantined. Make sure to keep yourself busy, get rest, maybe catch up on some sleep that you couldn't get with school. Just enjoying yourself, and I've been doing that. I've been playing video games with my friends, practicing social distancing. It's really not that hard for me because I can be online with people. So
have you been respecting what the governor has been saying as far as not going out and 6 feet away, and that hasn't been a problem for you?
No, I've only had to go out when you or Dad have to go out with me, and we have to do something that's necessary, like getting groceries or picking.
It's been a while.
Yeah, or picking up a prescription or something like that.
Even when we picked up a prescription, we drove up to the pharmacy, called in the credit card number, and they actually brought the prescription out to our car. We never entered the building. We're trying to stay as safe as possible. And when they handed me back the insurance card, it was with hand sanitizer, and I sanitized the card and my hands after touching the card. There's extra precautions that need to be, just taken into effect because of all this. What other ways are you staying busy at home?
Well, I'm catching up on sleep. I sleep in now. It's pretty nice. Other things, I've been cleaning the house. I clean my room. I'm helping everyone with chores. We've been busy at work, cleaning the house, making sure it looks really nice for when we get out again.
I think we're going to have the cleanest house in town, to be honest with you. And thank you for your help on that. Let's talk about Guys and Dolls for a moment. So it was the day after you guys took your group picture, and it was posted online to the Bethel Park Music Department webpage, I remember seeing all kind of smiling faces and just pride in everyone's, smiles and faces of the work that they had put in for months. The long hours, even the weekend before it was called off. You guys were in there from, I think it was 11 until like 8 in the evening, or some really long hours. You guys really put in the blood, sweat, and tears on that. What is the general consensus of everyone who was in the drama club production of Guys and Dolls? How do they feel about it?
A lot of people were very sad, and like you said, we were there from 2 to 9 every day of the week for the last 2 weeks before it went on, or before it got canceled, that is. And we were like just fixing every tiny little thing. We made sure every scene was just perfect. Everyone was there. Everyone was just like ready, and we could have probably put it on like a week before with how much we worked on it. It all came together, and it was just coming together perfectly. Everyone was happy. Everyone was excited. We were just ready.
When did they inform you that school was going to be canceled and you would no longer be going to Bethel Park temporarily?
They did Friday of, I think, March something.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, Friday the 13th, which is unlucky. And Guys and Dolls got supposedly canceled Thursday, March 12th. And it was supposed to go on the 18th through the 21st. And the principal came on the air, and he was like, we're going to have to cancel for at least 2 weeks for now. And basically what happened Friday, none of our classes really went on. A lot of teachers knew that this wasn't going to happen. So basically I had about 7 free periods in that day out of 9, which is like really big. And the last teacher, my teacher, Miss Kinzel, which is my web design teacher, she just talked about it, and she talked about how this, nobody taught during 9/11, and now this is going to happen. So, there was only 3 TVs in the entire school, and everyone was crowded around there, and nobody did actual work during that. And basically that's how my day went. But everyone has phones and electronics, so everyone was just listening for Tom Wolfe's opinion and what he was going to say. And finally, at the end of the day, it happened.
So at the end of the day on Friday, they announced that school's not going back, and your production was supposed to be the following Wednesday. I can only imagine how devastating. Is there any word if it will take place or not?
As of right now, it is canceled because all the clothes are already gone.
Where are the props and the clothes?
They were donated to us from, I think, a children's prop center. So everybody gets their certain share of it, and we rented it out for March. I think till March 25th, if I'm correct. And it's already gone. So we can't get those back for a while.
And I know Mr. K, the choir teacher up at the high school, had mentioned that if in any way, shape, or possible, that he was going to try to put it on, even without props, just on a stage, without costumes, just to try to give you guys just the experience and the ability to just enjoy the moment. I know that you have nothing more than the memories that you and your friends shared leading up to the production. And I hope that's something that you can take away from it, at least a little bit of joy from that. What's your feelings about the online schooling that's going to be taking place here soon?
Personally, I don't like it, but I think it is necessary. And, I mean, it's only going to be certain classes. And I think with Bethel Park, if I'm correct, we're only going to get online work through Google Classroom, and then we'll have to do it. We don't have to do online classes through Zoom or something. And I think that's pretty nice. I think that's the best way to handle it. People don't have to waste time sitting at a table, just watching watching a screen for a long period of time, maybe 6 hours as a school day goes. And I think it's nice that we're only getting work to do, and we can still keep up.
What are you and your friends, you and your peers' opinion as far as social distancing and, not being able to go out and see one another?
A lot of people aren't happy about it, but I think a lot of people are keeping busy and everyone's just like a little bit happier because they're getting more sleep. And I'm hearing, like, I've talked to a bunch of my friends and they said they stay up a lot, so they're having fun. Everyone's like enjoying themselves. People are trying their best to keep calm, stay happy. I'm sure like adults are more anxious about this, but a lot of teens just are like happy to be home.
Is there any fear or apprehension that you have as far as what tomorrow will bring or what society will be like once this is all done and over with?
What I think is I'm not fearful of it because it usually only affects people over the age of 60, and right now that's like the cap of what they're like saying. And if I get it, I'll probably survive, is what they're saying. But I'm still staying home, and I feel safe at home because I'm not going out. Society, I think it's not going to come back for a while. The stock market's at an all-time low since 9/11, and it is probably lower than that now. The only things that are up are toilet paper companies, hand sanitizer companies, and like paper towels, and just like necessities and stuff like. And everything else is probably at an all-time low since 9/11, which is insane. But I think that's going to take a while to bring up. I feel like a lot of people are going to stay in their houses still. I feel like after it's done, people are still going to like be cautious, and a lot of people aren't going to like go out. And I feel like it's going to take at least a while, like at least a couple months before we get back on track.
Do you in your heart believe that you're going to be going back to school?
This year, no. Heat kills bacteria, and usually we get let out May-ish or June, and that's usually when the heat comes. So by the time everything is settled down, I feel like we're going to be in summer.
Do you think there's a chance that there will be summer school to make up for it?
No, because of online classes. I feel like everyone's going to do those, and after, there will be no school until next year.
Is there any parting words that you can give to the people that you go to school with, to your friends, to your peers, on a positive note, as far as this whole situation goes, something positive to leave them with?
Be happy, do things that you want to do, enjoy yourself while you're at home, maybe play a board game with your family, enjoy your family because you're just lucky enough to have them still with you. And if you're affected by it, I'm deeply sorry. Keep moving forward and stay home and stay quarantined.
Those are wonderful words to abide by. Please, everyone, please stay home. Stay quarantined, keep with social distancing, do what it is that they're telling you to do. This is not a joke, but as my son said, just try to stay happy. Let's embrace the people around us, our family, our friends, the people that we do have in our lives. Appreciate them and use this time to get to know them a little better, to spend time with them. Be it, like you said, a board game or just through social interaction. The art of conversation has all but been lost on today's social media crowds. Take up a conversation. Talk to your kids about what it is that they feel. Ask your parents what they think is going to happen. Have a good conversation. I think that's a good starting point. But most of all, we have to have love in our hearts, and we have to remember what is important at this time. Moving forward, I think that better days are to come, and it can only go up from here. So please, everyone, have love in your heart, have a positivity about yourself, and remember your friends and family that are with us, and let's embrace them now more than